Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Person?
Here.
Mr. Prince? Mr. Corman?
Here.
Mr. Pavoni?
Here.
Ms. Perez?
Here.
Mr. McGurven? Ms. Witchy? Roll call, Mr. Mayor, 3 absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the 3 absent council members be excused.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that the 3 council members be excused this evening. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to administrative report, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. I have 2 items for you this evening. The first is you can schedule 1 pickup of extra garbage for free if you're a resident here in Renton. The Clean Sweep program is available to City of Renton single-family residential customers. Each household may schedule 1 collection of extra garbage to take place on its regular garbage day between now and December 28th at no additional charge. For questions or if you'd like to schedule your Clean Sweep collection, please contact Republic Services at 206-777-6440. The number again, 206-777-6440. The last item for this evening is the next Coffee with a Cop will take place on Saturday, June 15th from 10 a.m. to noon at Starbucks at 68 Rainier Avenue South in Renton. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Moving on to audience comments. We have 1 person signed up to address the council. Come on up to the podium, give your name for the record. You've got 5 minutes. Jason Collins.
I came here last week and you guys didn't answer anything. You just told me to get up. So I am not insane, and I'm not going to continue to do the exact same thing that you guys always do. All right. I wrote this as creative writing and maybe to catch your attention that I'm not joking around. All right. This is a real deal. You guys spend hella money on fucking Score, which is owned by judges. All right. Like, it's all incestuous white wall. All right. My name is Jason. It means heel, right? Michael, she spelled it E-A-L, which spells heel, right? I'm a Collins, all right? And I'm a Sluzar, all right? I was blood by the Sluzar, and if you know anything about them, they're all cops. Almost every fucking one of them is cop, all right? The Collinses started the Irish Revolution, all right? I'm not proud of either side because I take no chance, but do you know what bronze is? Do you understand? Do you know what bronze is? What its chemical construct is?
No.
You guys all went to college. You joined your fraternities,
Okay, well, go ahead.
right?
Go ahead and finish your
All right,
comment.
All right. Well, all right. I was here last week. I was appointed, and I received no response, no rhyme, no reason, no recognition, no rebuttal. I was just told that I was out of time, and so I ask you how it is that as a member of the community I can come in and ask you why it is that you're spending all this money on Score when you could be spending on job retraining programs and working with unions and things to actually get the people off the streets and give them the jobs that they need. And you guys gave no. All right, do you remember this?
Yeah, so finish your question. We'll try to answer your
Okay,
question.
that's a question, isn't it? I mean, honestly, wasn't that a question? I just answered. I asked a question.
Okay,
I
are
was
you
like,
finished with your questions?
I said I'd come back next week. So can I get an answer for that question?
Are you finished with the questions? And I'll try to answer.
Well, I mean, you didn't answer the questions last week when I asked. You just said
I'm
you're
not
out of
going to
time. and
argue
asked
with
me.
you. If you'd like us to
I'm
try
not
to
arguing,
answer-
dude. I'm asking you a question. I asked you a question. Why is
Yes,
it that
we
you guys
do.
don't?
We do
What's your?
we do support RTC, and we do support training programs as a city. In addition
Okay,
to
so I see a
having
cop
jail.
car with a education resources, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, hey, so where's your resources? I was like, I really like to go back to school. And he said, oh, I don't do that. So what the fuck? Like, I mean, like, why you got a cop car with education resources then he doesn't send people to education? Like, why don't you, like, I mean, like, you got a car labeled education resources, right? Is that just a scandalous way to take money out of the school system and put it into the cops' budget? I mean, I saw L&I do the same thing. All right, like they hired 36 new inspectors, and then they went around to all the businesses, and they find the person, an individual responsible for the mistake. They find him up to $500. They double that for the business, and then they double that for the business owner. So they found it to be a prosperous way to steal money from corporations, all right? And they did this, and so my question is, are you guys taking money out of the school budget and putting it into?
No, we're not, so are you
All right,
finished with your
I mean,
question?
like, education resources is something that I would vote for, right? I would be like, oh, good, education resources. I wouldn't know that it was going directly to the policing children or whatever. I know that they built a new youth jail up on Alder to hold 900 more kids. I don't believe that we should be putting kids in youth jails. I think that you should be sending them to school or teaching them lessons or getting them out of the situation that they're in and separating from their friends. I mean, like, I've been through this. I'm sitting on the streets right now because the police told my landlord I wasn't going to get out of jail when they held me for a competency. I'm a very competent person, all right? Very competent person. There was no reason to do this, all right? I also had a 911 operator say you were parked in a handicap stall on the east side of the building before the lady even told her on the phone. All right, like, I understand what data is. I know how you can send notes. I understand you guys you understand what I'm gonna say before I even walk up here. So, what is it that you guys are spending your money on? Is it policing people? Because where America has fallen, all right? Even Donald Trump I don't care which side you stand on, says make America great again. That means everybody in America knows we are not what we were. Are you gonna work with the people and try to educate them, give them jobs to do? Now, if there's a housing crisis, no homeless people on the street, which means we can't afford the rent, then how can you have a housing crisis and a job crisis at the same time with the taxation that we get? Have you ever done the math on how much you actually pay into taxes, just you, over your lifetime, or how many people there are in America times that number?
Yeah,
It
I'm
is in
sorry,
the
your
trillions.
5-minute timer is up.
Well, do you mind
Okay.
answering any of these?
No, we've answered some of your questions, so.
What did
I'm
you
sorry,
answer?
your 5 minutes are up.
What did you answer?
Okay.
If
You'll have to
this
sit
meeting's
down.
short,
We're-
then you had no reason to cut me short.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, we have 4 items for council consideration. Or are there anything that council members like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
seeing none, I move the consent agenda be adopted as presented.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Pavoni, that the consent agenda be adopted as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Person.
Yes, I have 2 committee reports.
Okay, the first committee report is first committee of the whole report is regarding regulating parking of commercial, oversized, and recreational vehicles in the right-of-way. The committee of the whole recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to regulate parking of commercial, oversized, and recreational vehicles in the right-of-way while also providing exceptions. The committee further recommended staff prepare an ordinance to be presented to council for first reading when ready. And this is signed by Council President Person.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the committee report be adopted as read.
Second?
Been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Pavoni, that the committee of the whole report be adopted as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
The second committee of the whole committee report is regarding the Renton Loop Public Art at South Second Street and Main Avenue South. The committee of the whole recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve authorization to negotiate a sole source contract with Western Neon to provide design, fabrications, and installation of the proposed Renton Loop Public Art project at the intersection of South Second Street and Main Avenue South. And this is signed by Council President Person.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move that council adopt the committee report as read.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Pavoni, that this committee of the whole report be approved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That's it for you, Mr.
That's it,
Person?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, let's see, moving on to Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a Public Safety Committee report to present.
This Public Safety Committee report is regarding an ordinance amending Civil Service Commission regulations in City Code. The Public Safety Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the ordinance amending Civil Service Commission regulations because, 1, the formation of the Renton Regional Fire Authority necessitates removal of the reference to RCW 41.08, and 2, political party affiliation will no longer be a consideration when appointing civil service commissioners. The committee further recommends the ordinance be placed on the agenda for first reading. This is signed by the committee chair and vice chair.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Corman.
I move that council concur in the committee report.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Pavoni, that council concur with the Public Safety Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And that's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Mr. Pavoni.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a committee report to present.
This Planning and Development Committee report is regarding Benson Hill Community Plan Advisory Board appointments. The Planning and Development Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to confirm Mayor Law's appointments of Mr. Chris Emery and Ms. Stacy Heinley to the Benson Hill Community Plan Advisory Board with terms expiring 8/1/2022. And this is signed by the committee vice chair and member.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Perez.
I move that the council concur with the recommendation of the Planning and Development Committee report.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Perez, second by Mr. Pavoni, that council concur with the Planning and Development Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think I got everybody. Moving on to legislation. We have one ordinance for first reading.
This is an ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending sections 243, 244, and 246 of the Renton Municipal Code, amending Civil Service Commission regulations and providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr.
Mr.
Mayor.
Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Corman.
I move adoption of I move that the ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Pavoni, that this ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, moving on to new business, Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Committee of the Whole will meet next Monday, June 17th. Hard to believe it's going to be that late into the month. At 5:30 PM in the conferencing center. It'd be update on a crime analysis highlights, drone presentation, graffiti abatement update, and emerging issues. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to announce that the Transportation Committee meeting that would have normally been held next week has been canceled.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee will be meeting on Monday, June 17th at 4:30 in the council conference room. We have 4 items on the agenda. Transportation Civil Engineer 3 hire at Step E, Senior System Analyst hire at Step D, vouchers, and emerging issues in finance. That is all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No unfinished business.
Okay. Executive session is not going to be held tonight, so what's the wish of the
Will
council?
we adjourn?
Second?
Been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Pavoni, that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.